Apparently is that the guy that's getting phoned on by the police?
He's phoning the cops and stuff.
Oh, the guy that they want out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so his leases, they're cutting it short, and he's
He said that
He's calling the cops, not a lawyer.
He's calling the cops on, like, the old lady who lives above me.
And
so what are the
this was
cops
a
gonna do?
story.
I feel like you need a lawyer.
This is a story. He said he's calling the old lady because they kept hearing sex sounds. And then I said, does anyone else live with her? And Taylor goes, well, just her son. Great. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the DC Retrospective. I'm the Clown Prince of Podcast, Trash now, not of the DC.
I am the not scared because it's my job, Kirkling.
Ooh, I am the fearful Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, now this is something we promised a long time ago. We did Batman to kick it off, and we said we were going to do 4 movies before Aquaman, and that never happened. So what the deal is we're going to do, same thing like the Marvel Retro. Every time there's a DC movie coming out, we will do one in honor of that, because we want to do the main series, but we're busy with the regular GV and all the other spin-off shows, so it's either we don't do them or we do them more times. So that's why, when Joker comes out, we'll do something else. When Birds of Prey comes out, we'll do something else. So after this, I'm not sure what we'll do. I think we're going to save Superman because I originally had Superman planned. But I'd rather wait till there's another Superman movie and we just do all the Superman instead of just doing one here and there. So we're doing...
Sorry, when you say there's another Superman movie, are you saying
another
one?
When one's coming, either if a Superman girl or movie comes out, that's when we'll do a Superman retro. I think he's deserving of his own. But we can do these one-offs, for... and this is in honor of Shazam. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. I don't know. I'm talking randomly because I gotta close the door.
Get your ring on.
Because my daughter is running around. Thanks. There you go. Taylor Field, what do you think about this movie?
I got a story for this movie. So, when I was working full-time at the movie theater, this was one of the movies that was at the theater.
Just one?
Just one.
How long did you work at the movie theater?
I worked there for 2 years.
So, not many movies if this was just one of the movies that was there.
Yeah. But no, that legit, the ending, when I was an usher, so I was in the theaters, I was seeing all the post-credit scenes, I was snooping around, and the one scene, aside from Thor, this was another post-credit scene that I saw so many times, again and again and again and again and again. I can't even fathom how many times I've actually seen the ending to this whole movie, because even when you're waiting for the theater to clear out, you go in there and watch the last 20 minutes of the movie. So I've seen it so many times. But I remember they used to give out the posters and stuff too. So I got, there's regular movie-sized movie theater posters. But this movie theater actually had, 2 times the size of that, 4 gigantic banners for each one of the main Green Lanterns.
That doesn't help the viewers or the listeners. As you point to something on
They're
screen.
Giant curtains, ladies and gentlemen. They're huge.
So the size I'd say regular curtains. These aren't giant, huge curtains that I have. They're just regular curtains. So a poster the size of 1 or 2 movie curtains back to back.
Yeah.
No, that was a question.
That was the question. Say it again.
I said the size of 1 or 2 curtains back to back.
1.5. Okay. Yeah, but there were 4 of them, and I took all 4 of them home. I got...
What an asshole.
I know, they gave them to me. They're like... I remember they shot on. They're like, no one wants these stupid fucking banners. And I'm like, I'll take them. So I took the banners. And I remember when I was living with my parents, and I was 15-year-old Taylor Field here, and they were I left them under the bed in my old bedroom with my parents. And I don't know where they ended up now. I'm kind of upset because I would have loved to have kept them. Because I didn't have Sinestro, but it had the fish dude, it had the big Hulk dude, Doomsday looking guy, and it had...
oh my god.
Kilimanjaro.
No. Keep going, I'm trying to...
I also had
Kilowog is the big guy. Yeah. He's one of my favorite of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah. Excuse me, but I had
excuse. Taylor's on a roll. We started this podcast an hour late because Taylor's taking phone calls out the yin yang.
All the fans are calling. They're like, "Oh my god, 1,000 likes on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen." The phones are going off the hooks. But yeah, no, I got the I got the Hal Jordan banner.
Our phone number is not on Facebook.
Is that what I said?
No, you're just I continue. I don't know how 1,000 likes correlates to you getting phone calls off the yin yang.
But yeah, no, I had those banners. I lost them, but Needless to say, this is a movie I always wanted to buy because when you go to the store and you see
Always.
you see DVDs always come in the black standard DVD case, right? Green Lantern.
This one was green.
always
That's
in
what
the
you want to
lime
buy?
green.
Oh my
It
god.
was so good. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a huge sucker for my steel cases and any kind of funky DVD case, you know. It reminded me of back in the day when you get those VHS cassettes that were like green and like orange. Oh, those were
Monsters Inc.
fantastic.
was like light blue.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Those were so good.
Rugrats were orange.
Rugrats,
That's right.
But
So
overall,
if someone got you that green DVD case, would it be a great present for
is
you?
the movie in it or not? Is it just the case?
Sure, the movie's in it.
I don't know. Answer the first question.
Yeah.
What happened
Maybe we
if
can
it's
save
empty?
some money.
I'd exchange it for Daredevil on the shelf.
For what?
I'd take Daredevil out and I'd put Green Lantern in.
That's not what I don't think that's what you said. I heard Daredevil.
I'll have to listen to
So, thanks for that great story. What did you think about the actual movie? When you saw it the first time and then when you rewatched it recently?
I remember, when I watched it the first time, it was, I enjoyed it. Like, I liked how it started
Really?
off. Like, I love me some aliens. I love me some Abin Sur and stuff like that. So,
Why
is
do you
he part
love-
of the comics?
Yeah, it's really true, like, to origin for most characters in this, like, how Hal's dad dies.
From what I read, though, with the Green Lanterns, the African American Lantern came first before Hal Jordan, I thought.
No. John Stewart came after.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I
He
thought
might
it was
even
the other way
came
around.
third after Guy Gardner. I can't remember, but...
Okay,
And
now
then
is
there's
it,
Kyle Rayner.
is it the same ring
We
from
don't
Hal
talk about
Jordan
it.
that progresses to each one of these humans, or are they different?
No, there's
aliens?
different rings, yeah, because sometimes
Okay.
there's two lanterns at the same time. I believe Hal was, like they say in the movie, was the first Earthbound one. But that's hard because I'm sure in some continuity he wasn't, but I think as the popular continuity is like he was the first from Earth and then kind of went there from out to Earth because they got Valor and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, overall, like, I do enjoy the movie. I think it's got a lot of crazy stuff, but I enjoy seeing, for the first time at least, Green Lantern on, like, the big screen like this with, like, the early 2000s effects that they've thrown in there of, like, him using the ring and
It's
everything.
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it.
But
But
should watch an early 2000s movie now.
early 2000s movie?
Yeah.
I'll go back even further. I'll watch Jurassic Park. That CGI will be on point,
I feel like they didn't have much CGI. Or I guess
They
the little
coded it
dinosaurs.
with the right moments.
Okay.
It all depends on the atmosphere.
The right moments.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I think the movie overall, it was good. I really at the time I never really sensed that Ryan Reynolds obviously loathed the role. But now I can't wait because you're gonna get into that at the end of the episode here.
Got
So
some trivia. To talk about, yeah.
So yeah, take it away.
What do you think about when you watched it this time?
Oh yeah, it was well, I kind of hinted at that. The CGI didn't hold up. So.
Nog gave his review. What type of movie fucking reviewer are you? What do you think about it? Oh, he kind of hinted. He liked it or not. So you can never say he's just like, you know what, Kirkling, you go now. I'm done with Taylor.
So, the first time that I had seen this movie, I didn't mind it that much.
Just hint though. Don't let
Okay.
them.
No, I'll hint at what I feel about it now.
Yeah.
When I originally saw it, I didn't mind it that much. It definitely didn't age well though.
What a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I just wasn't much of a movie critic the first time I saw it. I was just big explosions, those early 2000s, according to Taylor, CGI moments.
Ryan Reynolds is in it.
I digged them. Sinestro, I will give him credit. I think Sinestro looks badass in this movie. That CGI. What's the actor's name?
Mark
The British
Strong.
one? Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought he did pretty good for the role, for what he was given at least.
Yeah.
So originally, I liked it. I don't know. I liked Ryan Reynolds as an actor before I saw like what he's in now. So like back in the day, back in 2011, Ryan Reynolds.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. But watching it now, I watched it last night and I got about halfway till I fell asleep and it was a struggle. Like the first 10 minutes, I was like, I cannot believe that I actually tolerated this movie. Like,
Well, was the sleep because you were tired and exhausted from the day, or was the sleep because the movie was unsatisfied?
I'll give you that point. I was definitely tired and it was near the end of my day and
But a good movie maybe could have kept them up.
yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, it did not age well for me. A lot of the scenes and just the writing of it, it did not draw me in like whatsoever. And like the scenes that I remember liking, like when he's like making, like when he's just at the party when the helicopter's crashing down and he makes like the racetrack to save it. I was like, dude, this is awesome. I love this. He's just invented. It's just like, oh my gosh, like he could have just thought of anything, right? I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. But just a hint to how I felt. It was.
I think you showed your hands a little bit.
Fell asleep.
But saying it in age, the greatest.
I fell asleep. Yeah.
Okay. This movie I remember because this movie came out the same week I was graduating in 2011, so that's some fun. I skipped a party to go to this. One, it was a great excuse because I really didn't want to go to that party. Not a big fan of my high school. And two, I just wanted to see the movie, so I was so excited. You know, we had some rough patches, X-Men Origins, stuff like that, but really, you know, Iron Man just came out a few years ago, Dark Knight, you know, Dark Knight Rises coming out the year after, which is so tough to think that this is a year before The Dark Knight Rises, which I know not everyone loves, but if you look at just seeing the quality compared to, like, they're a year apart.
I didn't think about that.
It's a year apart. So it's crazy. So I remember just being excited, though, because I don't think he's top 10 for me, but I think if DC characters were, he's probably my top 10, top 15 kick around there. I'm a big fan of Hal Jordan. He's one of the more DC ones I've read. I read, like, a lot of Batman. Other DC I sprinkle. It'd probably be him and Flash that are kind of tied to what I read. So I was very excited. And I remember being, I think, the first comic book movie I disliked watching at the time. And I remember that was my first, like, being a snotty fan when everyone in my family I went to really enjoyed it. And I was like, no, like, I don't like this. And it didn't have the same vibe as the comic book for me. Because I think the main thing was that I was off, like, the chain once they announced Ryan Reynolds was being cast. Because I don't think he does a great... I think he's just Ryan Reynolds in this movie, and I think that works for Deadpool. But Hal Jordan, he is a comedic character, and he has a funny side, but he's just so quippy in this movie. He's just Ryan Reynolds, and that's not Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan has a bit more seriousness, and I think Ryan Reynolds tried to be serious, but I don't think he was at the stage of his career where he could really pull that off. I don't think he does the, like, badass action hero well, most part, and even in Deadpool, he doesn't have to do that too much, so I think he's much better off where he is now. And I feel pretty much the same. Nothing really changed. If anything, I liked it less this go around just because I'd only watched it in 2011. I'd never seen this movie again because one of those, like, it hurt me so much. Like, I do not need to see this. One of my favorite DC characters. Watch it again for this. And this was the thing though. I was expecting to have a lot more fun with it because there's so many times where we watched a movie that I thought was bad and it's just amplified. It was just kind of boring. There's a few things I'll shout out that I like. Like you said, Mark Strong, Sinestro, he's good, but he's so barely in this. Like, he's just... It's just like a sliver, and everything else is just really comical, but not even in a fun way, and I hate Hector Hammond so much.
The Megamind.
Yeah, he's just rating, and, like, I'm the guy, and it's not because some people are going to be like, oh, you don't want like a weak villain. No, like, I'm someone that defends Kylo Ren, who at times is just like a man-child. He is just like nails on a chalkboard. He screams so much in this movie, and it's painful. It's just like everything that's going on. It's just bad writing, the CG, like, it's tough to say this because people always say this, but the suit just looks terrible. I hate the mask on his face. The mask just looks like something's not mentioned. When we're recording this, we got lots of Will Smith, Aladdin Genie controversy going on, and this is just like that, you know? It's just not a great movie. It's a movie that I will never ever watch again probably after this because I have no reason to. It's not even was so bad, so good. You know, it just was not there. So that's why I'm excited for Taylor to somewhat defend this. Even though you made it sound like, I thought you said you loved it when we last talked about it, but maybe rewatching it, retract that, or
is that a question?
I don't know. Actually, I really
sounded
don't.
like a question.
Yeah,
I'll take it as a question.
Maybe you can take it as a question and answer later. That you'll have to defend some things why you like this movie.
I'll defend. I kind of like the suit. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like how it looks like it's like living. You know, it's like a second skin. But the mask. Oh, especially that last scene when he's talking to Carol, and he's kind of got like a half smile on, and like the mask, it looks like it's another smile, so he's got like two grins going on.
It's like the equivalent to a CGI mustache.
Yeah,
it does kind of look like that. It really does.
It's very bad, but
yeah, I can. I think the suit I can agree with. I don't mind the look. I think it's still at a stage where it looks so CG that takes me out of it. Like there's times where his head just looks physically imposed, and like especially when they got just the neck shot, it's like what's going on there? So like I agree with the idea of that.
Yeah.
I think they just need to they should have toned it down a bit, but they They didn't.
Well, there's definitely some scenes that looked way worse than
Oh,
others.
yeah.
The different lighting.
They had to rush a little bit. Taylor, start off with some positives about this movie. You can take us anywhere you want, whether it's cast or scene. Tell me some stuff to like, because all I could think of really was Mark Strong, and that was about it. I think like they have good chemistry, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, but there's just lots of bad writing and lots of like it's still very just like I'm gonna fly, but take my pants off. It's very old school, like. I don't know. You go.
If you don't have, the ability to throw in some good writing, you just have the actor scream throughout the film.
Oh yeah.
That'll make up for it. My favorite thing.
I like that one.
Too. My favorite thing about the Green Lantern movie though is the fact that at the time, I didn't know how they were gonna beat fear. Like how do you beat fear just by not having fear? That's wild. Like missiles apparently, but like. At the same time, I thought, as they revealed it, I thought, how that's so cool. All these lanterns die and they don't have fear, but that's the thing that holds them back from being as powerful. It's because, and I like that kind of message in humanity that they throw down on humanity being, having motivation and determination, just what kind of like people we are. And I like that how it represented it itself and how he realized that to have fear isn't a sign of weakness like the lanterns preach. It's actually something to be grateful for because it means you're going to strive to be even stronger and work even harder because you are afraid of failing. You're afraid of losing, so it's going to motivate you to try harder than someone else would. So it makes you strive more.
The parallels to Dark Knight Rises are even more scary now. If you need to take that, you can walk away. He made that as awkward as can be because in Dark Knight Rises he just
laughing as he's like looking at you.
In Dark Knight Rises, you know how like Bruce Wayne gets put down in the cave and whatnot?
I've only seen that movie once.
Oh wow. So when his back is broken, he's in the Lazarus
I remember
pit.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and he keeps trying to do that jump, but he can't make it. And he does the jump how he makes it the last time. He takes the rope off himself because the guy in the pit says, you gotta take the rope off yourself so you'll have fear. Because he keeps talking about the whole time how he's not afraid of anything. Mm-hmm. And he says you need to find that fear again. So like the fear of jumping without a rope will motivate him. So it's quite scary when he was talking about that a year later, that's very similar. I think Taylor has a good thing of like there's themes in a movie he really likes. Maybe he'll defend himself when he gets back. I think they'll say a theme, and that's what they're going for, and Taylor will really like it, but the execution of the theme is not really there. I think it's just very, like, surface level of just, hey, everyone has fear, and...
Well, yeah, I feel like that's just an overall message of just, like, the whole Green Lantern core,
and
not, like, what the movie delivered.
Yeah. I will say, as far as positives, I actually do like the stuff on Oa, like the planet. I don't mind it. I like his interactions with the trainers, like Kilowog and Sinestro. I like all that. I like the planet. It's I feel like I have my notes at one point. We go by so much stuff in this movie, like, really quickly. Like, the origin kind of happens, but then he's a Firefly. They find out that there's aliens on this Earth, and he never really... Like, there's not much attention paid to it. Like, him and Taika Waititi are just like, there's aliens, huh? And then that happens, and then he goes to and he comes back. It's so quick. Like, I don't know what you could have done. I think stuff like Hector Hammond and having some weird relationship with his dad. Like, there's stuff in this movie. It has all the problems like every classic comic movie does, where it's like, it just has a bunch of plot lines and whatnot. But anything else positive you want to shout out, Taylor? While we're on this positive kick? How do you feel about Ryan Reynolds? Obviously, you've not read the comics, but how do you like him in this role?
Well, seeing him, after Deadpool and everything, I just feel like there's a totally different kind of experience watching it. I feel like I can see more, hearing kind of people's input about his role in this film, I can feel and see more that he disregards it a little bit. He's not too much, like, on board with it. Kind of like a Ben Affleck in Justice League kind of equivalency.
He's never said that, though.
No.
Don't put words in Ben's.
But I think though that his performance though overall, like, I didn't mind it. Mm-hmm. I think it felt like it was like definitely on like the cusp of what he was meant to be. Because personally, when you ask me, I feel like his superhero role is he was always meant to be Deadpool. And I remember when he was casted as when Green Lantern came out and he was playing Green Lantern, I remember thinking like, oh, why would they do that? They picked the wrong hero. Make him Deadpool at the time. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, he was Green Lantern. I thought he's never actually going to be Deadpool.
I did think that too for a little while, yeah.
But I definitely thought the experience was definitely positive for me watching his performance. I liked how he delivered, but I definitely feel like his humor was pulled back a little bit, because in most of his movies he definitely has the same kind of mindset, and this felt like he was acting to not be himself in those movies, if that makes sense.
Kind of. He was trying not to be Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But he's still Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like the first time I watched this, he was definitely like one of the high points of the movie for me. Just because I liked him as an actor at the time. I wasn't like you guys where I was just like, oh, he's gonna be Deadpool. Like, I feel like he's gonna be Deadpool, because I honestly didn't really know much about that character like way back when this movie came out. So it's funny watching it now though, because now all I see is him as Deadpool, and just like it's really weird. So it's definitely like trying to think about my mindset of the first time I watched this back in 2011 before I even knew who Deadpool really was, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. But I remember the first time I watched it, I definitely. It's hard to say because it happened a long time ago. Like, I don't even think I was in high school when this movie came out. So maybe I was just so innocent, just like, oh, he's just funny. I love him, and I just like seeing him on screen.
Yeah, I already said my kind of piece, and I don't think anything's his problem. I just don't think he's right for the role. I think he has like his arc is accepting fear, like you said. It's done, I think, just fine. I think it's, I was saying while you were out, it's very surface level sort of stuff. So
It's pretty flat.
yeah, but that's all I kind of say on him. Blake Lively, I'll start with her. I like her in this role, which I remember not liking her the first time. Maybe it's just a simple favor bias happening right now because I really liked her in that. But I thought they had good chemistry. But I don't think she really has anything to do in this movie. She's just around.
She shot the Jets, man.
Well, yeah, true. At the end, she saved
the
them, right?
Rockets.
But she just feels like she's just kind of around, and she's a damsel in distress twice, and that's not even a big knock for me because I was kind of movies back then. But it's just, there's just nothing. Like, I guess her thing is to be. I guess the problem is they use her a few times to talk to Hal to be like, oh, you're scared of something, like you didn't. Because one thing I did like in the film that they don't dive that deep into is like he kind of suffered from PTSD, and they talk about it a little bit, but they don't really dive deep into it. And I like that scene where they're dancing together and she brings that up. I like that, but then I feel like that's the last time for a while they have an interaction. Then he's off. They come back to the party. I love the balcony scene where she figures out that he's Hal Jordan, because it's such like at that point I felt like there's so many superhero films already just to call like just because I can't see your cheek doesn't mean it's you, because I thought that was fantastic. That's probably my favorite thing about this movie. I think it was like a fun meta thing. I think it also helped that to have at that point when we were thinking this could be a franchise, there were so many times where the love interest didn't know who the hero was, so that was something different. So I liked that. I liked her, but I just feel like she had nothing to do in this movie really. She's just kind of around. So
that's a good point. I definitely feel the same. I feel like she wasn't that useful, except for like kind of reaching into like Hal's mind and about like the PTSD with his dad. And then, like, I checked the manifest. Like nothing went wrong. So like what went on up there? But
she would bring him at like the worst times. It feels like. Just accept the dance maybe.
Yeah,
later.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely that was another positive point I'll take out. I like their chemistry. I don't know if it's just biased because I like obviously they're married.
Yeah.
And, like they have a good relationship and they're pretty funny like on Twitter and stuff. But that might just be a bias. But rewatching it again, I appreciate their chemistry.
I think know her. You don't have a proper kind of setup for Hector.
That's completely wrong.
That's completely wrong.
No, because Hector was all crazy for
Let's talk about
No.
Hector. Let's talk about Hector, because that's where the real meat and juice. Because I feel like, for the most part, this movie, other than the idea of Green Lantern and the ring, I feel like it's a pretty generic origin story. And the villain is just classic bad origin. So define how do you meet her, because Hector doesn't have a scene with Blake Lively until like halfway through the movie.
No. When they're little.
I don't stop bringing up the little. I don't count the little scene. Fine.
I was awake for that scene.
Since they're little, after that, it's not to the party, which is near the back.
Yeah, but he's obviously obsessed with her.
Well, again,
He's like that. He's like what's the guy's name from Two Towers who wanted the girl? Yeah, Wormelton. He's like that guy oogling over the girl. You know.
He is, but that's the thing in Lord of the Rings. It was just this little side thing, and that's the problem. He has this relationship with his father, which is not great, but that's a storyline. He's obsessed with Carol. He's not obsessed, but he's like jealous of Hal. And
I wish he was Hal, basically.
I think that's the problem where they needed to. There's so much going on where when he goes to the planet, and I don't think they need Taika Waititi in this movie at all, even though I like seeing him, because if they wanted to do this whole like it's not even a love triangle, but this whole situation, they needed to show those characters together way more, because I feel like didn't Hector and Hal not even have a scene together till the party as well, adult versions?
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like they don't interact at all, and then the next time they interact, it's all going haywire and stuff like that. And the dialogue, I know we're just praising Blake Lively, this isn't her fault, but the first time she meets Hector at the party, like, oh, it's nice to see you, look great, and oh, you look great as always, and then she's just like, yeah, you had a really tough life growing up. I'm glad you turned out okay. Who says that sort of shit to people? I would never say that to anybody. And it's different too, if like his dad had passed away. His dad is just over there, so you're like belittling his dad. So it was just most of the dialogue in this movie is very much like that, and it's because they know they're not spending the time with characters. So same thing when you're talking about fear, they know they're not going to get too deep into it, so they just have the characters say what they want you to think about. But he is, if we do our DC poll one day, actually we are doing a DC poll, he didn't make the cut for our villains. When this will be live, actually. Go to Facebook. We won't pimp that right now.
Yeah.
When this drops, the DC poll will be happening.
It will be
It's on
okay.
Patreon, and that's, yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're just quick intermission. Check out the DC poll going down right now. It's a crazy lineup. I can't say who is versing who, whether it's Michael Keaton versus Bale Batman or Aquaman versus
Hector versus Hal.
Hector didn't make the cut. Hal did, but we have, I think 16 heroes and 16 villains for DC. In honor of Shazam, it's kind of DC month here, so check that out.
Constantine?
What?
You sound like a guy at a van trying to get little boy Kirkling. You like Hex? You like Constantine? You like him?
I got some good Hex in my van.
I don't think many people know that Jonah Hex and John Constantine are DC characters.
Really?
Do you?
Who's Jonah Hex?
Exactly.
He's that
Is
cowboy.
Constantine like Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was DC.
Oh, yeah.
I like that movie.
And Jonah Hex is a cowboy movie that came out a few years ago.
I think I remember hearing that.
It's
I
Megan
didn't know it was
Fox,
DC.
it's Josh Brolin,
Oh, gosh,
Michael
yeah.
Fassbender's in it.
Oh, I remember that.
We're gonna retro it one day. I think next that I
Oh,
looked, the
gosh.
next one we're retroing is Catwoman. Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
But so check out that poll. But Hector unfortunately did not make the list. We tried to get the best, but yeah, he is. If we did a ranking, or if we ever do another one, I'd easily not vote for him over anybody. I think only next to this would be like Jared Leto's Joker for me, just because that hurt me on a personal level. But, and then I mentioned this at the beginning, it's just his scenes where he's just sick in the bed and he's looking at himself and he's just cheesy. And there's one moment where they're doing scientific experiments on him. He's laying down, and then he pops up and he's like, and he just has like a smile, and he's just. It's weird. I don't know what they're trying to go for with him, and I feel bad for the actor. So yeah, this to me is a top 5 worst comic book films of all time for me. It's just nails on chalkboard. That's the best way I can say it.
Did he get any major roles after this movie?
I wouldn't say major. I think him being in makeup and the wig kind of helped, but he was never a major actor before. He kind of just stayed the same. This didn't help his career.
This was his make it or break.
Yeah, no,
Oh no.
You really brought it over.
Yeah, like
Screams.
yeah. Let me look. I'll look at what films he's known for. He's known for Shattered Glass with Hayden Christensen. It's all indie stuff. So yeah, this is probably his biggest movie he's ever been in, and yeah.
And his last biggest movie?
Well, who knows? Maybe Green Lantern 2, like you want, you know?
Green Lantern 2?
Which
Maybe
favorite
Marvel will
character?
pick him up.
Maybe. Taylor, what did you like about this villain?
Having to talk it out with you guys definitely points out a lot of stuff because it went over my head, the screams and how many screams he does, because like I like to do this thing when I watch movies. When something becomes repetitive, I'll make a bet with myself, like, oh, it's gonna happen again, then it happens again, I'm like, oh, it'll happen again, it happens again, and then after you guys pointed out the screams, I started counting in my head, like, oh, it's gonna happen here, in here, like,
Oh no.
and it blew my mind how many screams he actually does. So I think I can't see it as a negative because I had too much fun laughing at it with you guys. But like, he definitely is, his like weird looks and stuff, he always grossed me out as a character to begin with. But like, yeah,
I'd much rather look like Megamind than this guy. At least Megamind's nice, smooth, and blue. Did you say no? Or you
no,
want
I
no?
said, my God.
So if you had to pick, someone comes to you and says, tomorrow morning you're waking up to look like Megamind or looking
I'll
like
take
Hector
Megamind. He
Hammond?
gets the girl at
He
least.
does, and Hector Hammond's like veins coming through, and it's like
Very
he's just an
sweaty,
egg.
very
Yeah, he's
sweaty.
always
When you get the
sweaty.
superpowers.
And he just has a 80s porn stash
Yeah.
going on.
His look, like, even when he lies down next to Hal, he's like, hi.
Yeah,
Like,
That's
he's
Carol.
Like, it's just one of those, like, weird moments that I'll forever throw into, like, the lineup of superhero moments. Like, is this guy bothering you? And, like, just stuff like that. Just stuff that doesn't fit in a movie, but I'll take it. I'm not gonna...
Oh my god.
I won't be upset with it.
You can take that.
Yeah, I should take it.
You can take it. Take a walk.
Kirkland, you got any thoughts on Hector Hammond?
Nothing really positive to say other than like what Taylor said, where it's just funny to kind of meme about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's definitely those moments you take away from these bad movies that, you know, at least it's enjoyable.
He's definitely the moment. He's definitely like, if everything's kind of just like generic and boring, he's the guy that went for it.
Yeah, no, they definitely screwed him over though. Like, he was just had a horrible life. His dad just didn't want him.
Such a disappointment.
Yeah.
I
but
can't
man.
stand this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
This poor dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else I want to talk about. Yeah, I like Sinestro in this movie. Obviously, we're jumping to the end here. It's a notorious end credit scene. I hate the end credit scene because for this movie, he's just a good guy trying to help stop Parallax.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess also in today's fact, we should talk about Parallax because I guess that is another villain in this movie. But it just makes no sense. Even in the movie, they don't even give a hint that he has any bad bone in his body. And
Sinestro?
they take like the Marvel approach that, we're going to set it up. But at least I feel like there's most of the time, that's why Marvel's successful, there's something, and I guess the best people kind of use the example is Doctor Strange. Do you remember Baron Mordo in that movie? Doctor Strange's like buddy, and then at the end of that movie, in the end credit scene, he's bad. Even that movie, you kind of got the sense of like, okay, he's disagreeing with the council, and he's disagreeing with the Ancient One, and he clearly says, I can't do this anymore. And there's times where Sinestro is disagreeing with the Guardians, but I felt this was still like, okay, we introduced Sinestro, part 2 is going to be where he goes evil, and part 3 where he's the villain. I felt like there's a big missing chunk to where he's good trying to help out to where he just decides to put on the ring for no reason. In the comics, he decides to do this so he could make things better because he feels it's the way, and really because he's in this for so little, you don't get much other than he's just a trainer and he's a good guy in this movie. So
Well, especially like how it ends at the end. He's all happy. He's like, "How like save the day."
Yeah, this shows us why we should be Green Lanterns and why the ring
behind
shows
the
us.
scenes. He's like, "Ooh, look at this one."
And maybe someone could be like, "Oh, in a sequel they'll like retroactively explain why he did that," but as a standalone movie where we'll never be getting a sequel, it just makes zero sense. But actually, for talking about all the CG in the movie, I think all the lanterns look good, like even the bug people. I think he looks the best at it, because there's times where I'm not sure I'd have to look behind the scenes. They probably did some maybe prosthetics. If they didn't, kudos to them, because I feel like when they go to his face, it looks like his skin at times. It doesn't look, even his ears don't look like Will Smith's Aladdin ears, so I liked him and all the cores being in there, but I just feel, again, I feel like they didn't know what they wanted to focus on in the movie, and he's there, he's good, but...
I definitely agree with you where there's a lot of missing gaps in there, especially if you go to that end credit scene, but, like, this is definitely a stretch, but it's almost, I kind of compare him to... They didn't really say who the Guardian was, but the guy that turned into Parallax. Like
they dropped the name.
His intentions were pure. Like he just wanted to be good, but he needed that power to. See that I'm contradicting myself though, because I'm trying to think of Sinestro trying to be like more powerful for the greater good, but
I guess
then it goes to the end and he's just putting it on.
I guess the only thing is because the Guardians kind of explain why he turned, right? And with Sinestro, maybe in the second one they would have been like, oh, he picked the ring because of these reasons, right? But in this movie, you don't get anyone telling us why he would pick the ring, other than I think they just do it because they know comic fans be like, oh, they'll fill in the gaps because they've read this, they know he's a bad guy, but that's what you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to still tell it so people like our parents or people that don't read these or aren't into comic movies, they'll get it. Not just be like, oh, he's just a generic bad guy. Because that's what he feels like too. He doesn't feel like he's going to have any motives or storytelling next to it. He's just going to be the new bad guy that's obsessed with fear and whatnot.
It almost would have worked better though if like in the middle, if they would have done that scene in the middle, because they went and fought Parallax, got their ass handed to them, and then he goes back and he's like, the only way I can beat him is if I get that golden ring. But then you take the Parallax factor out of them, it's like, what motives does he even have to get the ring?
Well, yeah, and then you have, I have in my notes too, one of my least favorite scenes as well, is you got Hal Jordan, he's fighting off against Parallax and his idea is to burn Parallax because he says bigger things burn faster. I don't know if that's science or not, so please let me know in the comments below. But then he defeats Parallax with a big punch. Taylor, when we were watching the anime, went, whoa! So a big punch, and then Parallax goes in the sun, and then Hal Jordan, like, out of exhaustion, collapses, and he's falling into the sun. And then all the corps come, and they get him, and it's just like, you were there the whole time and you didn't help him at all. Like, I know.
Maybe that was Sinestro. He's like, guys, wait for him to be done.
Yeah,
because
like,
that's his little like mastermind.
Yeah, I get the ideas. Maybe they showed up just in the nick of time, but it was kind of cheesy. So, but yeah. Do you have it? We were talking about Sinestro and kind of the course, and we tied it with the end credit scene. I know you talked about that, but how did you feel about Sinestro?
I feel like he's a downright ass.
Why? He's an ass?
Yeah, he's an ass. Like, he's got that uptight, like, you're a puny human, he doesn't, for someone who's so loyal and believing in what the core is all about, he just disregards why the ring chose Hal.
Yeah, but what about
the ring
the end?
doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, the end, he's like, Hal did it.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that obviously needed to see it to believe it. When to be a Green Lantern, you need to just believe it in order to see it, I kind of think, Because, like...
You just took that phrase and switched it.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you say, because I'm not trying to defend this with the greatest, but the training sequence, I guess, is supposed to like show his willpower and how he is, right? So you would assume maybe people in the past before had picked it up a bit faster, where he's doing it and Sinestro's like, I don't see the potential in this guy.
I think it probably is based on, like, his race, too. He's probably, like, a more logical kind of guy.
Sinestro's an ass and a racist.
He is. He's very prejudiced against humans.
He doesn't want to go fish people, but those humans.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, though, I think, yes, he is an ass, in my opinion, but I think he's still a cool character. I like all the other aliens. I thought it was funny, the ending, when they just show up there. I feel like when you look at the core, or Iowa, or whatever the planet's called, I can't remember, but, like, you see... like, the hundreds of thousands of Green Lanterns. I feel like if all of them were to charge Parallax at the same time, Parallax would get fucked.
Oh, yeah. That was another big, like, plot twist. I kind of... I didn't, like... I don't know what else I was going to say there.
Nice. Neither the movie. How do you guys feel about Parallax?
Big floating Squidward looking mofo in the sky.
I'll pull him up on
You
here.
really did not like that one black chick.
Oh no, he targeted that chick.
Just
You want to set it for the scenes while I like
yeah,
this up?
so when Parallax, like, breaks out of the airport and starts going to town, the city, he's just, like, his cloud, his mist is flowing through the roads, and it's literally, as Kirkling says, it's just, like, a re-edited, like, scene from...
I didn't say that on air.
Not on air.
We gotta give some pretext there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll explain my part and then explain your part, because you said a great thing about that scene.
Thank you, Taylor.
So, yeah, so Parallax is zooming along, and he's, like, going through the street, and he's absorbing people's fear, and, like, everyone's running all over the place, and there's this one black woman who trips and falls, and she turns over, like classic people do in these movies, and she's staring at Parallax, and Parallax is, like, looking at everyone, just kind of eating people, and then he stops eating everyone, and hones in eye to eye with this innocent black woman just lying there, and then charges at her. Out of everyone, I guess she had the most fear that he was just craving,
So this is Parallax. He takes it first, but he's almost like a dragon.
He looks like a gremlin.
Yeah. Like if you look online, but he takes different forms, but he's more just like
butterfly.
And he sometimes also looks like electricity coming around and about fear. So that's why, as comic book fans, when you saw all of us when we saw Parallax Day, because I'm pretty sure in the trailers they didn't really show him, and then when the movies happen, you're just like,
he wasn't even really yellow in the movie. He was mostly like gray and
brown.
smog.
Yeah. And notoriously in the fan community, he's called like the diarrhea monster. And he's just like, if you look at Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, he's like a cloud. And I always hate that. Even with Doctor Strange, they did a better job with the Dormammu. But I hate that all these films that are big, like these fear things or something like that, they always just choose, instead of designing, let's just make a cloud or something. Like Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four, I think he just saves creativity. I don't know, like, look at what they're doing in Green Lantern. You don't think they could have pulled that off?
He looks like an evil version of the flying dog from Neverending Story.
I think they could have pulled it off. I just think they're more worried about audiences being like...
We care.
I just think they'd be more like, audiences can't accept this, like, looking sci-fi thing.
Maybe they made it and it just looks so CGI bad.
Maybe. Well,
like,
does Parallax look better?
Let's do Octopus.
Because when his face came out, was not great either, so...
He kind of looked like Hector, though, with that bulge head. Do you think that's why
They
Hector
share
got
a
bulge?
similarity.
It's like you're gonna turn into me.
I guess I'm trying to think why, because I know he like cut his hand and that made him like get the alien juice. And do you like Evan Sur because he just is Tamir Morrison?
No.
That's the actor that plays Jango Fett who's playing Evan Sur.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
The
I
first
just liked Evan Sur because I
Evan
liked
Sur.
when he was like the go-to Green Lantern. He just popped up on Earth and he was just like, I don't know. He was just super badass. I thought he was cool.
I like his look.
Yeah,
his
I
looks
like
good.
his look as well.
I like those one and done characters sometimes. If they have to be one
Classic
and done right.
Star Wars. Yeah.
One and done right.
So we like
is what I
Dak
say.
from
Dak. Oh yeah. Oh, I should have put him in the poll. Next one.
Honestly, there's some people that are in that poll that I'm like, I've never seen this character in my life.
What?
And they're in the next round. Maybe that's just the way it was set up.
There's a few people that said that to me too, but
Who are these people?
Emily
Yeah,
said
sure.
that, Jessica said that, Dylan said that.
Dylan said that.
So half of the
multiple times
Geekverse
in the
cast
chat.
has. And this is the fucker who tells me, oh, I really want to do an alien poll. And we're going to do it because he wants
Is he an
to.
alien?
But, like, everyone's going to be like, who's this? Who's this? Like, it's going to be...
Well, we're
I
talking about
suggested,
that.
I was like, why don't we do, like, a sci-fi poll so you get Ripley,
that's a
big
good
alien
idea.
characters. But no, we're going to get, like, Joe on Doc 2 from Alien Resurrection. And I'm feeling like, what? Like, I'm thinking alien Facebook groups.
Were you talking about like just the characters? Because I started thinking actually about the different species of aliens mixed in there.
Oh no, that's people just gonna be what? I'm voting for this alien versus this alien. They're not like you who knows like this is Ultimate Predator and this is whatever
They had
Predator.
this amount of teeth over this amount of
Yeah, this is the one in the tree.
teeth. Alright. Getting back to Green Lantern. Where were we? We were with
Parallax.
Well, we talked about
the
Parallax.
Parallax error.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about the scene when they were in the street? People were running away from the cloud.
Oh, I'm supposed to tell you what I told you in confidence. I didn't think
Yes.
you'd bring this up on live.
Very confidence.
Okay. Well, there's a scene, it was similar to the scene, it was the scene that Taylor brought up, where the smog is just seeping through the streets and everyone's just running through. I swear, someone should look this up because I think it's the exact same scene that they have in Day After Tomorrow where New York is just flooding and it's just, the people are running, they see the water on the other side so they turn around, run the other way, they see water over there, they're just pooped. So thank you for making me bring that up.
And what we're saying is that Taylor thought there was maybe just stock footage that you could buy and people are...
Yes.
Were
I
you...
forgot about that scene.
Not that you want to rewatch this movie, but you should for my favorite part that I think only I appreciated, but I like that one moment everyone turns to run and they zoom in on this old lady and she just stops by a stop sign and just grabs it like, I don't know, hoping for the best, but I think she made a smart move because I think she would have got trampled. So I think maybe, I don't know what that would have stopped from Parallax, but I thought it was a good
That's the
move.
stock footage because originally it was water, so she was holding on. So she
That's true.
But like, that'd be a good way to go though. Because like, you just,
What do you mean?
just getting eaten by Parallax. Because you don't suffer.
We
You
don't know that
just
though. What if it's like, what
It's
if it's
pretty
just,
painful.
it looks like your
your
soul is being taken from your body. So that could be
yeah, Hector's body.
I prefer
Yeah.
Life Force.
I'd have to ask, I don't know,
When
like,
Hector's body fell out of Parallax's mouth, it didn't look like it was too appealing.
yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't in his body anymore, remember? Like you said, his soul.
I'd have to ask
Sure,
like
though.
some politicians to see what that feels like, you know, so not naming any
Ooh.
names.
Ayo.
Let's see here. Do we have anything else? I have notes and then I got trivia, but anything else we want to shout with the cast? Amanda Waller's in here. I looked at the credits, she's actually Dr. Waller. So
Dr.
that's cool. But yeah, they did plan this to be like a new cinematic universe and that didn't really work out. And then they did again with Man of Steel 2 years later. But imagine that, Ryan Reynolds with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. It's not...
it doesn't have to be Ryan Reynolds, but I want Green Lantern in there. When I watched Justice League, I actually was quite surprised.
Well, I feel like that's the benefit of doing this with Hal Jordan and how there's been so many different Green Lanterns is that it's pretty easy to reboot because you just give it to Jon Stewart or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, right?
The rumor is they're working on, they're calling Green Lantern Corps. The rumor is they're doing a older Hal Jordan teaching a Jon Stewart.
Oh, okay.
So
That'd be cool.
that's why those Tom Cruise rumors have come from, which I think would be a great
That would be
one.
yeah.
And then I think there's a plethora of
Plethora.
Jon Stewart's, but I can't remember who my favorite pick was. I would have won Michael B. Jordan before Killmonger, but it has to be someone else. Yes.
And it's in the same universe as like Ben Affleck's Batman.
That's I think the idea of it.
I love that
It's
so
been
much.
taking a while. I think it was supposed to be at like 2020, and it hadn't even started filming. So classic
I want
DC.
it to come. The intro, or not the intro, when they're like showcasing in like Justice League and they're showing like Green Lanterns flying over, like blasting like parademons and stuff. Oh, it was so cool. I just want that.
Speaking of opening, I actually which I have some questions about you guys, or no, for you guys, not about you guys. Yeah.
You found my tweets.
Yeah, you gotta delete them. I really like the beginning opening of the movie where Jeffrey Rush is doing the narration, explaining where all the rings came from and everything. I remember at Comic-Con that year, they released that, and fans were just like, this is gonna be great. This is like, I was one of those, I was like, this is fantastic. But then it's weird, I'm trying to understand, so they do that, and then there's that part where Parallax is like locked up, right? And then these lanterns go and he sucks the fear, and then they go to Hal Jordan as a kid, and then they show his dad dying, and then he goes to adult. When was Parallax supposed to escape? Were they assuming that it was when he was a kid? Because I thought Parallax escapes like present day with him an adult. So I thought it was weird, like editing to be the origin, you got Parallax, you go back to when Ryan Reynolds was a kid before that, and then you go to present day. I'm not sure when Parallax escaped.
I took it as when it was Hal Jordan was an adult, because I thought that was the whole fight with Evan Stewart or whatever. Because Evan Stewart put him away, and then something happened, he escaped. Evan Stewart had to deal with it, but he was not powerful enough, and then...
So I found that was a little weird editing. That I like the opening, but the fact that it was kind of, we're jumping all over with the timeline and whatnot. So, and I feel like this movie does that a lot. We're constantly jumping to Oa and then here and then to Carol.
Yeah.
And then the awkward, like even then, like we get introduced to his family, which I didn't know any of the actors.
I didn't know, and I didn't know like how they were related to him. Honestly,
They're all his brothers.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, they don't do a good job. Never understood recognized any of these actors. And then the other thing is, so he gets there, the whole thing is, they did a test flight, and then he almost died, but it was fine. And he walks in first thing, and because his dad dies from the test flight, his brother's like, what, do you want to be so much like him? You're going to die like him? Is whatever he's saying. And the case is, so there's a point where he looks, and it's his mom, and she's in the corner, and she's just...
What? His mom's in this movie?
Yeah.
What?
So they're in the kitchen, he's arguing with his brothers, he looks inside, his mom just overhears, and she's just crying, and then she walks away, and then you get that scene of when he goes up to his nephew, just to give him that, and talk to oh, it's okay. We never see a scene when he goes and comforts his mom. No. So he's just his mom's crying, yeah, bitch, get the fuck out of here.
Shit about his mom.
Yeah, there's, that's what I mean, there's, things you could jump on, the emotional core of his family, which they clear then. They just got some whatever extra actors to be his family. But yeah, his mom is full bawling. We never just got a scene of, it's not going to be like that. I'm really sorry. It's just, he doesn't give a shit about his family. And fine, if he doesn't give a shit about his family, get more into that. But yeah, I thought the opening was really...
That's insane. I didn't know, how any of those people in that house related to him, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, who, is that his brother-in-law or something? I'm like, why is he such an ass to him?
No, it was two brothers, sister-in-law, and then
his mom.
His mom and then the nephew, yeah.
I don't even remember seeing his mom in that scene.
Yeah,
is that
she's
the
bawling.
extended edition?
No, she's in there just crying. Same scene. She's
Wow.
she's in the scene, but it looks like they shot it at a different time because she's just by herself at the door, crying. It's so weird.
That is weird.
And he got the ring. The ring chose him.
In that moment, right?
In that moment, yeah.
Well,
I was
the
thinking about
asshole.
that too. Like throughout the movie, just his moral decisions. It's just the ring chose him. All right.
Well, it's not. He doesn't have to be a good guy. He just has to have no fear, right?
I don't think.
But then that's a
You have to have
horrible
fear.
plan.
I thought that's why we watched that movie. Is because it explains that we need our fear.
Well, not no fear, but I feel like
I thought it would have to be moral, because otherwise, what if, let's say, who's another villain? What if Mr. Penguin has no fear and then the ring
What's his
chooses
name?
him? Mr. Penguin.
It's just Penguin. And then did you almost just call him Doctor? You almost doubled down. Oh, it's Doctor. He has no PhD in anything other than how to wear an eyeglass.
He's a biologist. Come on.
yeah, he runs a zoo. Well, no, I know what you mean. If it was always no fear, Batman's getting that ring every time. But yeah, I think I guess not fear, it's the willpower and whatnot. I feel like there was a good person in there, and willpower's just beneath his assholeness, so.
In the underbelly.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any acting I have. I didn't think the kid version of Hal Jordan was a bad actor. I thought he was pretty decent.
It was the writing, definitely.
Oh, 100%. And here's my favorite thing. So his dad is testing this, fighter jet. He crashes. And
gets out.
he gets out. Everything's okay. But around the jet, there's like oil and fire.
Yeah.
Hal is running. His dad's just like, he's like, just smiling. Yeah, not even like, no, don't. Like, even if you don't know you're about to get exploded. I'm not saying he knew that, but even then, there's fire. Like, tell little Hal to just wait. I'll come to you. So, terrible father. Just terrible father.
Would you put him on point with Kevin Costner's Father of the Year performance?
No, well, Kevin Costner is good. I put that movie on Flame because I know some people like Man of Steel for that. For me, I just checked out Man of Steel when he let his dad get sucked up by a hurricane. That for me was just like, I don't care. Especially it's like, what, 2-3 years later is when he like reveals he's Superman. So your dad pretty much died for nothing. Like, you were still going to be Superman, so no.
But he didn't choose to reveal he was Superman. His hand was forced.
But that's what I mean. It still happened.
Yeah.
It still happened. I don't think he's a great dad either. Because there's one great scene where, which one day we'll do Man of Steel if we do Superman, but he saves those kids from the bus from drowning. And he's like, I just wanted to save those kids. And Kevin Costner goes, maybe you shouldn't have. It's like, no wonder why Zack Snyder's Superman's so fucked. Like, I just watched BVS last week and oof.
I still haven't seen
I
it.
love.
I never seen Man Still. It's not.
I'm
good.
waiting for a retro.
I just bought BVS and I actually really liked it. I don't know. I'm just on board with the DC kind of thing right now.
You were big time. And 10 out of 10, you know. For me, when I watched BVS last week, because of Affleck at our time recording, they announced he was gone. There's just a moment where he sees Lex Luthor, and he's just... Did you watch BVS?
Yeah, I watched the definitive or collector's edition.
Oh boy, that's even worse. And he says something like, even to Batman, he says, if I wanted you dead, I could have made that happen already. And she's like, that's not Superman. He's not just... That's another cast. Let's get back into this. I like the training sequences that they do on Oa. Those are fun. With Kilowog and Sinestro.
Yeah.
Kilowog.
Kirkling, not so much.
I feel like it was a little lackluster.
Okay, I can agree. I guess maybe it's like a gold. What is it saying? Something out of I don't know. Let's continue on.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Go for it.
But yeah, like especially. Okay, let me restart.
We're not fucking little. We can't say anything right
I
now.
liked his little fish buddy and how he's explaining just like the whole like what being a Green Lantern basically is, like how to fly and like you basically just imagine it. So I like that stuff. The Kilimanjaro.
Kilowog.
I liked him. You know, he's a pretty funny guy. He reminded me of some other like I don't know.
That's Michael Clark Duncan.
Really?
Yeah, the voice.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, cool. The Sinestro thing.
Not a fun fact for you, Taylor.
No, I don't know who he is.
You don't know who Michael Clark Duncan is?
I need a picture.
He played Kingpin and Daredevil.
Of course he fucking did. Fuck.
He hates Daredevil.
Why? That's another cast.
We did it. Check it out. But yeah.
But yeah, no, like I felt like the fight scene with Sinestro, I don't know, it just felt lackluster to me, especially when he's just like mocking. He's like, oh, sword, what are you, fucking human? Bullshit. Like, just racist towards humans.
Yeah.
But I did like how he just pummeled him, and then it just like killed his ego, and he's like, I'm not doing this. I'm just crying and running home.
Well, that was weird for me because he said, I'm not doing this, but then he goes back to Earth and he's pretty much just deciding to be a hero. I understand him helping Kal-El, that's fine, but then after that, when we all talked about it, he randomly showed up to Hector's, we don't know.
He was looking for someone else, he just went through the wrong door.
Yeah, and but that's the thing, like, he says, I can't do this, but then he's back on Earth, like, you get this emotional scene of, I'm not strong enough, but he's just being a hero.
Yeah.
So he's doing it.
When he's showing his buddy, like, the lantern, is that after he, like...
Yeah, isn't it?
Wow,
Yeah,
okay,
and it's all, like, that's the problem, too, with the movie, the tone. It's trying to go for this dour emotional thing, but then he's at home like, look, the studio's like, yeah, I'm green! And it's like...
I like that scene where he's like, alright, ready? Finger. Ring. Boom. Doesn't work. I like that scene. I don't know why. I got a few chuckles out of it.
You got a charge of?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was jacked in this movie, too.
So, between, like, here's a question for you guys. This is what I was going to ask you earlier. Now, if you had the ring, what would be the first thing you'd make? Your willpower.
Money, no.
That's a good question.
Trying to spend
probably
it.
a hamster wheel.
Hamster
And
wheel?
then I'll just run in it.
Oh, so life-size hamster wheel. Interesting. What about you, Travis?
I could go on record, and I remember watching the movie the first time. I don't think I'd make a Green Lantern, because I feel like I'm a creative person, but I don't know if on the spot, especially because I'm such a planner, I don't know if on the spot I would be able to create the things that he does, like with the racetrack wheel. I wouldn't even think that. I feel like I would just make the same 5 things over and over again until I like get down to like there's some mugger and then I'd have some fun. Like I guess my great idea against Parallax I was saying while we were watching was like a vacuum. I think that would be good to get him.
You're Luigi.
Yeah,
You're Luigi's
a blender, like throwing big gigantic blenders at people because they couldn't escape, right? So something like that. Yeah, big bowling balls. I don't know, a real life snowman like Jack Frost. But
sounds like some great Adam West equivalent, like 60s Green
oh
Lantern
yeah,
flick.
I would be like using some really cheesy stuff. I really think a gigantic frisbee would be pretty good.
That'd be so
Were you
good.
asking me what I'd use to fight someone or just
Yeah,
oh, okay.
or
I thought it was
either
just something to make. And I'm like, I think a giant hamster wheel would be cool.
You can use that too. You could roll at them, throw
That
the
is
villain
true.
in there and they're stuck.
I don't think I could run
yeah.
fast enough to like make it effective though.
Yeah.
For a weapon, probably just like a big fly swatter.
Big fly swatter?
Just
That's nice.
What about you, Taylor? Don't say lightsaber.
No, I definitely wouldn't go lightsaber. That's like the OP one. Like, I wonder, like, if you were to conjure up a magic wand, would that even work? Or
No, I don't think so.
No?
Because you pretty much have a magic wand in your finger, though.
Okay, yeah. I think you could have a lot of fun with, like, manifesting a huge, like, you could just go cut to the chase into a flamethrower, but if you were to manifest, like, a huge, like, thing of, like, bug spray and then a lighter and...
And a
yeah.
That's a big... I don't think you can make actual hands, though, so you'd have to light it. You can only make the object... Well, I guess he does make a
You'd
big
have to have a
fist,
lot of
though,
will,
so
too.
never mind.
A lot of willpower to do
Lot
it.
of willpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you could think of one? What was your favorite thing he made in this movie? My favorite was when Waller was falling and he made like that puddle of water she found. I really liked that.
The what? Sorry, what did you make?
When she was Hector, when he woke up and he throws his dad, and like you said, he gets that early 2000s death of his dad just gets roasted to death. But then Waller got thrown up against the glass and she starts to slip and she falls. He makes a puddle of water and she falls.
Oh,
into the
okay.
dirt. I
Like,
really
flushes
like
her away down the
that.
tunnel.
Yeah, and she's dead now. On the streets.
The jets are my favorite. I got a kick out of those.
Probably like the anti-artillery. You mix the sight in there.
Yeah. What was I gonna say with the what was your one again?
The jets?
I don't understand when he's like that. Why did he have to take the straps down? They're just
Oh, he didn't need to. Like, a split-second thought and they're gone.
yeah, but even then, they went for sometimes realistic where he takes the straps down, but the palm straps on, but then it just disappears. And you guys were pointing out his hair in space, which was something
That's
else.
the moment where he's pulling the straps off, and the director is thinking, "Oh, everyone's gonna love this movie. This is such a great work of art."
This is the moment.
So
This
put
is
that
the
detail
moment.
in. Oh yeah, they're gonna see that. They're gonna know.
Dark Knight, Batman interrogation scene, helicopter, wrist, whatever. What are those straps? in?
Harness.
Yeah.
Harness, yeah.
Harness.
Harness straps.
Anything else? I got some trivia, but anything else to shout out?
Do you remember the Green Lantern phrase?
Oh, yeah.
On the does it start with the darkest night or the darkest day?
I'll give you a hint. In
Green Lanterns.
in brightest day.
In brightest day and darkest night. Green Lantern's light.
You just skipped through that.
I don't remember.
Ted, you.
I do. In brightest day, in darkest night.
Sometimes people say blackest, but
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
no
You
evil.
can't say that in 2019.
No, I can't. No evil shall escape my sight. Those who worship evil's might, beware my power, Green Lantern's light. So you had it almost there.
I was missing some fillings. I had the two buns.
Yeah.
I missed some patties. And some...
Let's see. Ryan Reynolds, who played the protagonist, famously hated the movie. He is admitted to having a poor relationship with the director and was glad to see the film poorly performed critically and financially, as he did not wish to reprise the role.
Did he have a bad relationship before with the director?
It's gonna
before
keep
he
going.
did
It's
the film?
gonna hang on. It's gonna keep going. Just talk about how he made jokes in in Deadpool, blah blah blah. Ryan Reynolds and Martin Campbell, who's the guy who is the director, he directed Goldeneye and Casino Royale.
wow.
So two of the best, my favorite Bond films, next to Skyfall, clashed repeatedly on the set. Campbell has stated in interviews that his first and only choice for the lead was Bradley Cooper. So, probably didn't go great when he kept saying, "Hey, I really want Bradley Cooper." "Oh, you're Ryan Reynolds, but I really want Bradley
You're no
Cooper."
Bradley Cooper, Ryan.
However, the studio was not willing to make an offer to an ultimate cast Reynolds behind Campbell's back.
Oh.
This led to an uncomfortable experience on set for Reynolds, whose performance was constantly critiqued by Campbell, who made him do many takes. I didn't read that. Oh, so I can just see that, no, that's not good enough. Go again. And you can just be like, Oh god, like that was good.
I
Yeah.
wish I knew these trivia facts like before I watched the movie.
It's a
Just to
whole
like see Ryan
experience.
Reynolds like
Now
face.
it makes so much sense now. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of his face, just like how he'd be upset. Reynolds has stated in an interview with Variety that the film failure was a huge relief, as he had an unpleasant experience and dreaded doing it again. So there you go.
Well, like was he signed on for multiple movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah. To
Wow.
prepare for his roles, Hector Hammond, Peter Sarsgaard spent time with a biologist from Tulane University who described as the most energetic guy I could find. They both worked on preparing the lecture Hammond gives in the film. I've never understood this, okay? I'm not an actor. He does not do, like, much science stuff in this. He does one scene, which we find
He's
out
teaching
that...
a class.
He's... Does he need
And he
to...
just sends that kid. We didn't even mention that. That was just like child brutality at its finest. It's just like, what did you just say to me? You just called me a loser. Oh,
I forgot about that.
scene.
You just called me a loser, and the bell goes off and sings.
Everyone's like, what? And he just sends him flying. Class is dismissed. I don't even think the bell went, honestly. I think he just did an early dismissal.
I think you're right. He said, get out of here, whatever, kids. But that was the problem. Even before he got, like, Megamind, he was so bad before. He was so creepy and whatnot. But I don't think anything in that role needed him to go spend time with biologists. Hey, whatever you gotta do as an actor, fine. But I don't think that was needed, so... I'm trying to find... So here's some other castings that were rumored around the time. Was Sam Worthington. You guys remember Sam Worthington?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You want to tell Kirkland what he's from?
Avatar.
Oh, okay. I like him.
Um,
Sorry, what was
For
this
Green
one?
Lantern.
Oh,
For yeah, these are some of the rumored choices. Chris Pine was one. Let's see. Bradley Cooper, as we talked
course.
about. And I do remember these two specifically, as I was not a fan of these choices. Justin Timberlake, who I like Justin Timberlake, but I do not think he's a good dramatic actor. I think he's just comedy. And this guy who's always circling around comic worlds, he just loves them. Jared Leto was. And I wish he played this, and we never go, because if we would have played this, we would have been good. But he's guy, I gotta give it to him, and that's, well, maybe I shouldn't because I don't want him around him, but he must love comic books, because he almost played this, he almost played Doctor Strange, he's playing Joker, and now he's playing Morbius, so he must just love the comic book, so, yeah.
Can't fault him for that.
You can't.
If he played as Green Lantern, do you think the studio would have given him Joker?
No, that's why I wish this happened, because it
Oh.
would have sunk the whole franchise, we've been done.
I thought what you were gonna ask was if Jared Leto played this role, do you think we would have a second movie?
100%.
Yeah.
People would have loved it, yeah.
So you said the studio didn't. I'm just trying to understand. So
Yeah.
did they offer Bradley Cooper money, or was
Sounds like they
couldn't-
didn't go to him.
So they just didn't want to believe the director and go for Bradley Cooper?
Well, let me look at the release date, because before Hangover, did you guys know who Bradley Cooper was?
Yes.
No.
What do you know him from? I'm not even being condescending, I'm just wondering. He doesn't, he's just lying.
I honestly can't remember, but I was aware of him before Hangover.
Okay, so then again, though, The Hangover came out in 2009, so I thought it was closer than that, because my idea was maybe they just didn't think he was a big enough star to be in it, but maybe they still thought that as Bradley Cooper, I don't know, but I would have liked him as a choice, I've always liked him. He's even been rumored for this latest one. I think he has a live-action superhero in him, but I think now he's doing Rocket, and I also think now after Star is Born, he's going to do a lot more directing, so
Yeah.
unless he's directing something, I don't think we'll see him play a live-action superhero in his, maybe in the older days, but as like the main, like Bradley Cooper's our main guy. It's kind of like how Jeff Bridges was a villain in Iron Man, right? Like, I think he could do that one day, but I don't think he's ever going to be Green Lantern starring Bradley Cooper. I like it. I think he's a good choice, but
Fun fact.
yeah.
Limitless came out the same year as Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Much better movie.
Yeah,
This
definitely.
is good. Haven't seen the show though.
No.
Quentin Tarantino was considered to direct this film. That would have never happened because that just would never happen. Zack Snyder was approached to direct this film, but he turned down the offer due to his commitment on Watchmen. But he would later go on to direct Superman reboot Man of Steel. So
Funny how things play out, doesn't it?
yeah, Carrie Russell, Ava Green, Jennifer Garner, and Diane Kruger were all considered for Carol Ferris. So all those are our older choices than Blake Lively. So I guarantee you they looked at that and then the studio was like, we need a younger person. Because all these people that were rumored, very young. So I think that's about it for like fun trivia I have. The rest is just like it took this many days to shoot this, but that's about it. Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm sure it's in here somewhere, way back in the 90s after The Mask, they considered doing a version of this with Jack Black as a comedy, so in the vein of Jim Carrey with The Mask. That was approached and developed for quite a while. Thank goodness it didn't happen. Granted, I don't know if it would have been any worse than this, but I just don't want Green Lantern to be a comedic hero like that, you know. So I'm glad it didn't happen, and that's not my Jack Black bias. I think he's good in some things, but I think I would not have been a fan of just making him pretty much a parody spoof.
So would it have Hector in there again?
No, this was like a whole different. This was in the 90s when they were talking about that. Yeah, this was way like right after Jim Carrey's Mask. They're like, what else can we do? We got Jack Black, so
gotcha.
Yeah. So
we got Jack Black. We can put him in any role.
Yeah, it's this or Batman. Taylor, final thoughts and a rating if you want to give a rating.
Yeah, this movie.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it. I know it's gonna be a fail, but I don't know. I haven't landed on a number.
I could definitely at some point in maybe like 6 to 9 months I could go back and watch this movie.
6 to 9? Yeah. I thought you were gonna say years. 6 to 9 months?
Yeah.
Jeez,
if I had to, if it was on TV, I would watch it. I'm not gonna go put it.
Is that
on.
like in like the pretense that, hey guys, you gotta watch this really funny scene about Hector just screaming, or is it like, Madison, you want to watch a really nice movie?
Probably more along the lines of like, Madison, yeah, you want to watch an interesting movie.
Okay.
An interesting movie.
You reworked what I said.
I'm surprised because I feel like you've not I feel like you've not sold me enough why you would watch it again for 6 to 9 months. Like, I don't say you hate it, but I feel like you haven't talked that passionately about the things you've liked.
There's a lot of things that I like that people don't know about. But like,
that's what this was for. That's what this is.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's
what the Patreon people pay for.
Don't look at your phone. Look at the video.
Sorry, distracted me. No, I usually alternate like every 6 to 12 months, when I want to watch like a franchise or movies or whatever. I feel like I need that kind of a recharge time, unless it's like
a franchise. This is one movie. Don't give me that. You're that one studio exec still trying. And funny enough, the script went so many changes over, but the guy, Greg Berlanti, who does superhero shows, who does Riverdale, who does You, if you didn't notice, he was the top billed as far as screenwriter. He did write a screenplay. He said over years that his screenplay was not his screenplay. It was changed up a bit, but yeah, he did write this originally. So he's redeemed himself now because Flash, Arrow, all that stuff is great. But I just want to make good. That's the guy who wants a franchise.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I don't think one movie's a franchise. I think it's a one and done.
But yeah, no, I think I'm not gonna go out and find this movie and buy it or rent it or anything like that and
watch 20 parts on YouTube.
Just 20 parts on YouTube, yeah. But no, I think if it was on TV or something like that, I'd sit down and I'd probably watch it for a good half an hour.
Does it depend what part of the movie?
It depends on what part it is. Yeah. It absolutely the part.
So if the Hector Hammond parts are on, you're not sticking around.
I might just sit here. If I'm with someone, I'm gonna definitely watch the whole thing and be like, okay, watch, he's gonna yell here, ah! He's gonna yell again, ah! It gets better.
Like Michael Jackson.
But no, I think the movie overall, it's a good experience. It definitely satisfied that basic need for Green Lantern right now. I'm itching for it.
There's much better things. There's animated movies. The animated series is really good. Yeah. You got Justice League Unlimited, which we were talking about, where you got Jon Stewart. So you could watch much other things than this movie to get your Green Lantern fix.
True.
Don't be that animated hater.
No, I'm not an animated hater because I do like anime and I don't go out and I watch tons of superhero animated films or shows.
Why not?
I've actually never really sat down taking the time to actually go into it, but there is a few on Netflix I think, oh, it looks pretty cool, I'd like to check it out. I want to see Killing Joke, all that kind of stuff.
That's what I said, ask me first. Much better places to start. There's much better places to start.
Okay. Yeah. But I would give this movie
chills from that one.
It satisfied my live action need for Green Lantern right now. After with Justice League, I want that in there. So, but hopefully, what you said, it comes to fruition. But until then, I'll give this movie a solid 6.5 out of 10.
Fair enough for a Taylor score. But
this is a movie. The first time I watched it, I thought it was okay, but didn't think I'd ever rewatch it. Or no, that's a lie. I thought it was okay enough to one day be like, I like that movie. Let's rewatch it. After watching it now, I know that I am never gonna watch this movie again. If it is on TV, on every single channel, I will go read a book.
Oh wow.
I am not the biggest Green Lantern like fan from the comic books. It's not like I hate Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart, any of the guys that wear the ring, but it's just not really my what was provided to me from my comic book reading days. But yeah, it's just I don't even know where I was going with that. But this movie was really bad, and I'm never gonna watch it again. And I'm gonna give it. I would give it a null and void, but I'm gonna give it 1 good point for that hilarious like parallax stare down that I didn't even know happened in the movie, but you brought it up, so that was amazing. Actually, I'll give that like a 0.5.
Wow.
And then for the Hector memes and laughs and his screams, I'll give that a point. So 1.5 out of 10 for me for this movie.
Yeah, and if I didn't mention, because I think I mentioned this off-cast when we were watching it, score super generic in this. I actually got a look.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the score.
Yeah, score was not good. I just remember there's a moment at the end where he's talking to Blake Lively, and he's like, "I'm gonna go look for trouble," and and then he jumps away, and usually that's when you get like your Man of Steel theme and the Dark Knight theme. It's just like na. It's just something super generic. I hope I'm not taking anyone through the mud here, but I'm trying to look. But the movie overall, I don't think it's poorly acted for the most part, other than Hector Hammond. But I don't know if that was his choice or if that was a scripting thing. I don't know on that one. So
he wasn't kind of like same equivalency to like the villain from Ghost Rider, where he was paying off his.
That's different. The villain from Ghost Rider had a coke addiction during the movie, so that's how you go. Clearly, that's no.
He just did what his biologist told him.
Wow, James
like this is what you gotta do.
just messing with a James Newton Howard, who's a great score artist, did this and composer, not good. I don't think other than Hector acting is bad. I think it's just I think it's very generic, sprinkled with some very bad stuff. So I think I'm gonna go a 3 out of 10 on this one. I don't know why, it just feels right. I feel like a 4 is too high and a 2 is too low.
I was gonna give it a 2.5, but I thought that was a little too high.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna stick, especially since I dozed off. I mean, I was pretty tired, but this was a snooze fest movie.
Yeah.
So 1.5.
So not a great average there. So Taylor, where can they find us on the interwebs?
Well, ladies and gentlemen out there in the internet, you can find us in the search bar. You can type in Facebook, Geek vs. Space Podcast, find tons of stuff. And like as mentioned earlier, in case you missed it, there is a poll going on right now in celebration for Shazam. It's all the DC hype you could want. So go and vote on that. I would, well, I'm not going to say who the champion is at the other polls. Go just take a look at who those champions are. But
you don't even know. So
I don't know.
Don't make it seem like you're trying to keep something from them.
Keeping it a secret.
What are you looking at?
I have to on this poll. Since the other round ended, oh god, come on, I go like that, and then I go like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we did here, we got lots of good stuff dropping. I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure it will be happening. We are doing a Batman fan cast, just like our Marvel Fantasy one. We're going to be casting Batman, we're going to be casting Alfred, we're going to be casting a bunch of people, so that's in honor of Shazam. We're going to do DC fan cast. I think most of us will be on that. But if you like what we do, head to the description down below for our video and podcast feeds, and we're all there. Please like, review, and subscribe. And thank you very much for tuning in. I don't think we have an outro for DC Retro. I don't think we were...
Green Lantern's light.
No.
Shine bright.
We're going to end there. Best year yet.
Best year yet.